relationships, all of them, you're going to spend the rest of your life managing them, and you need sound counsel, and we want to make sure that nothing is standing in between you growing. One of the things that we realized as a couple is that things that were invested in us in these seminars have been crucial to our growth as a couple and for our family stability. And all we're trying to do is invest in your family and in your relationships and your future. It's no fun. It's no fun. What are you doing?
I wanted to read that.
Oh, it's no fun when, you're going through life without somebody in it. And she's just touching my buttons and stuff, all stuff. I'm going to touch her buttons.
You like when I touch your buttons?
I like when you touch my buttons, yeah.
I was trying to see the
Touch
rest.
my
Like we
buttons
could
now.
maybe
We're about to go off live right now.
Shannon Jones. She's in
she
Atlanta.
Says, I'm expecting her first child, which is her first grandchild. Oh, we're trying to read the rest of that. That's why she hit the button.
Right.
We can't. It cut it off. All right. Evan and all said hello too. Yeah. So maybe I missed. Oh, there's a whole bunch happened since I went down. So we want to invest in couples and in people who are single. They want to know what to expect, how to overcome certain things. You know what, True? That don't break up a happy home. That's what Martin said. He said touch the button, just don't push them.
So true.
Push the button.
Go paint a wall. Push the button.
What was that from?
Color Purple.
Color Purple. That's right.
That was a great soundtrack.
That was.
See, back on you because you like musicals. Look at you singing the songs from musicals, but you try to front like you don't like them. That song was
extra dope, though. That's what it was.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'm not going back to see Bronx Tale. That was really corny.
The music?
Yeah, the singing. Yeah. The storyline was dope.
The little boy was cute.
I just wanted to see her pull up and open the door for him.
She did it.
Bronx Tale. Yo,
Bronx on Broadway, we saw that. It was good.
That was the best part.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. Even on Broadway, she did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Marquette said it's hard being single nowadays. So much has changed.
I could only imagine.
I could only imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like what? I'm curious to hear from the singles.
Oh, Giannis Emmanuel, congratulations on your first grandchild.
Like
I got 5, girl. 5. Loving them.
Loving them.
So
Hi, Miss Williams.
Hi. So being single is difficult. I'm sure it is. What's so different about it nowadays? I mean, I'm 46. I ain't been single for...
You're 46?
I'll be 46 this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you'll be a little older than that. Cougar.
I'll be 47.
Cougar.
Black don't crack. And I'm a cougar. Yep. I ain't mad. Single isn't easy. I want to hear you guys tell me why it's not easy. I imagine that it's not easy. Especially in this day and age of social media.
I'm sure everybody want to text you to death and what you're doing to death. I see all of that stuff on social media. They be like, you're not going to what
London
you're doing.
London says, hi, Papa.
Hi, grandbaby.
Hi,
oh,
London.
my God, that made my night.
Aw, baby. Well, she's becoming a big girl. Big girl.
I heard she placed high on her fundraiser at the school for the computers.
Ooh, nice.
Technology
Good job,
run.
London.
Good job.
Nikisha said the shade is difficult.
The shade is difficult.
The shade when you're dating?
The shade, what's that?
Hi, Miss Roz. It was awesome seeing you Friday. Marquette says, like dating has changed, just taking time to get to know one another. That's changed.
Ain't nothing different.
That's not new. That's not, I don't know. Dating is a process. And we could talk about this more this week, but
Kim Gregg says men don't want to date. What happened to dating? Did it die? Dating is hard work.
And I think two people need to define what dating is before they engage in it.
What's dating?
Like, what is dating? If two people are saying we want to date, or somebody, from a woman's perspective, if a woman, hi Tia is in the house and Tia will be there Thursday night with her husband. But if a man approaches a woman and says, I want to get to know you, whatever, I think it's the responsibility of both the woman and the man to say what that means, and sort of approach it and readdress what define the relationship periodically, because it can be moving quickly too quickly for someone, not fast enough. You know, you go out on 3 dates and some women are like, oh my God, I'm going to marry him. And a dude is like, I don't even know your last name. So I think, you know, dating is definitely a process, and it has to have, you know, it has to have some resolve. You have to, you know, you shouldn't be dating for 15 years talking about I'm just trying to get to know if this is the right one. But.
So Yoli says it's difficult to find someone who can align with your purpose or be able to equip or be equipped to where you are going. And I think that's part of the dating process, is to find that. And it's okay to say, you know what, we're not compatible. You're not you know, making a judgment of their character. You actually made a judgment of your own character. And
it's okay to determine that early on. Absolutely. You don't have to date and fall in love with something or someone that is not, you're not compatible with, just because you say, I invested time, so I need to ride it out.
I mean, is the friend zone like, you know, like Siberia or something? You know, you put somebody in friend zone, you know, that's what they want. Do they get the message? You know? Keisha said, from conversations I've had, too many people want to Netflix and chill.
That's why I say you got to define, what is this dating? Is it really, you know, we can say the fancy church words on here. You know, I want to connect with my purpose. Where am I going? What am I destined to be or to accomplish? But really, are you just looking for somebody to chill with and hope that it becomes something that you want it to become? Yeah. Dating is a process. It's made a comeback. Nikisha says selfishness, no compromise. These are the problems with dating. Communication is false to prove outside of achievement, not inner. Men idea of dating has changed. So has women. Mm-hmm. That's not fair to just say that men's ideas of, because, you know, back in the day, they're dating women. Yeah, that's why. Men used to come and, I mean, think, what? I
said, don't get me started.
You know, in terms of what I've heard some women say, don't come at me if you can't take me out to 5-star restaurants every time we go out, and, you know, all those things. Or I'm not in I don't want to be in a dating relationship where we have to build a life together. I want you to be established and have the money and have the assets before I come. You need to, you know, we were talking about, there was a ring out.
No, that is dream world.
That's dream world.
Get out of here.
Because
you build a life together.
What love is? You're building a life together. We collected bottles together.
Right. We scraped change out the couch.
Out the car seats together. You build a life together. I was shoveling
snow like I was a teenager trying to get dinner.
He put me through school. You know, you do it together.
Yeah, and we almost there. We're getting there.
We're getting there.
But you know what Keisha said also over here, I mean, there's some good stuff going on, but Keisha said also that people, that they're never really present where they are. Our phones, and it's all of us. Our phones are in between us. They're like blockers. You know, we're so busy being with people who are not there that we're not really with those we're there with. Yeah. You know, I always try to teach people to let your heart and mind be where your feet are. That, you know, make an effort to be present and to be in each other's presence. That means instead of settling for a text, go have coffee, go do something. It doesn't have to be formal, but, you know, being in each other's face, watching each other's body language, and hearing and asking about each other's family, being in public places where now you're forced to not have to deal with the urge to be intimate or anything, you know. Those things are important, and you want to learn about their values and stuff and see if you're compatible before you test if you're compatible.
Yeah, and compatibility is not, I think a lot of people put that on sex, but compatibility is, you know, how's my credit? Am I in a position to even contribute to a relationship? You know, assuming that dating, the purpose of it is to become married. Right? Am I studious of the word of God? Do I know how to be a God-fearing woman? Does someone know how to be a God-fearing man? All of those things have to come to play when we talk about compatibility. Are we giving too much away?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, we're going to talk. Yoli said that sometimes the economic and academic gaps between men and women make it difficult to connect. Because our men are raised, to be athletes, and so they're very physical, and sometimes they're not focused on the things that will prepare them academically, and so to have conversations, what do we have in common? What books have you read? They'd be like, books, what? I mean, or
So are you saying that sometimes men could feel intimidated?
I don't know if it's intimidation, but I'm thinking that you have, and again, this goes back to compatibility. That what do you have in common? What art do you like? What subjects are you versed in? Because compatibility has to do with what I've been informed by, what I've been inspired by, what I've been influenced by.
Yeah.
And if we don't share those. And sometimes men are influenced by things that are strictly masculine, and so they must find more general topics in order to connect with women, and vice versa. That women should be versed in things that are outside of the normal scope, so that you have a higher likelihood of connecting with somebody,
Being compatible with them. Yeah.
And so broadening your horizons and what you're informed on will help you in the dating process.
Keela said most people skip the friendship stage because they're so desperate to be married. So true. We were talking.
That's big.
Raylon said the other day one of his friends is spending $40,000 on their wedding. It was like,
grand.
yeah, you could put that money down on a house.
Yeah, I said, Lady Mo said, Pastor and First Lady have seen so many lack of interaction between men and women. There's expectancy without presence.
Wow.
There's a book out there that says,
Ooh,
did
good.
this kill that? It's a book about how social media and interaction has killed personal interaction. Did this kill that?
That's good. And even with the whole expectancy thing, again, it always goes back to we've not communicated what we expect, but we make the assumption. As a woman, women want to make the assumption that the man should know. Mm-hmm. No, he doesn't know.
Wait, hold up. Mm-hmm. She said, I have to go to work in the morning, and I hope this doesn't take too long. Did I read?
I could read your mind.
I could tell your story. But you got singing the wrong key.
No. We're not doing that.
I could read your mind.
Let me try it again. Sorry, we used to watch American Idol, and that one sort of stick out.
That did help. Reading Purpose-Driven Life, that you got to know your purpose. That's really what we wanted to come on and talk about tonight.
Look, lady, Ross says when she and her boyfriend go out, the phones aren't out at all.
I think that's fair. I
think
cool. I saw an instruction that everyone, even at home, you take your phones at dinner and you put all the phones in the middle of the table on top of each other. And the first one to grab their phone has to do the dishes.
Has to do with dishes.
And so, good. Just be present. I think that's so important during dating, and do it in safe environments. What?
Damon says, save it for the conference. They're trying to get it free, but as of tonight, we've made it free for Wednesday and Thursday because we really want people to come. We are.
Ain't nothing free. But
we're going to receive an offering, but we definitely want. Please tell your friends, tell everyone to come and be a part.
God bless you. Bless you. Greetings. I see you guys still joining.
There.
Renee.
And Damon's on it.
Awesome.
That's my brother.
Mike Johnson, what's up? It's good to have you guys on here. Lady
Amen,
Mo, thank you for that.
Good to see you. I know. I hope you guys can come out so that we can get more in depth. Like, this is just a little bit.
So it is hard to be single.
It's almost our bedtime.
Yeah, and we got children that had to go through singleness and that are living through singleness, and giving them advice is really important to make sure that you trust what God has invested in you, and you don't compromise. You don't compromise your standards for anything.
Yeah.
And trust that he's going to send you the right one.
Yeah.
Chris Garrett said communication only works in honest environments. How do you know when to give up on a relationship? Jonathan said.
Wow. I think when you're
Hope you didn't kill my broadcast.
No, you're
You
still
be
there.
calling, all right.
Yeah, we talked about just, not investing so much time. And I think you have to look at your own personal motives. Am I in this because I want to save face? Am I in this relationship and I don't want it to end because you want to hold on to it. You feel like you've invested so much time and you don't want to give up. You don't want to look like a quitter. But when your purpose is being smothered, and when you are no longer in a place where you're growing,
Sorry, my dog is being annoying. I don't know
when you're
what
growing
she smells or
and
whatever.
you feel like you're
He's
getting
not gonna-
something out of that relationship, it's time to end it. And that's why I said be very careful how much time you invest in a relationship that you are trying to make happen when it's not happening naturally.
Shannon says, what do you do, Lady A, when the man you love is strong, wise, financially in a very good place and great in other areas, but you guys are not good in the bedroom? That's what she asked you, Lady A. What do you do?
I think intimacy really comes when you love someone unconditionally. And when we are, is this your husband, Shannon? That's what I want to know. Is that your husband? Because if it's your husband, then I say there are things that you two need to do to find a spark, to find how you can show your affection towards one another. But if it's not your husband, I think that's what makes it very difficult. And I think that's what makes it difficult for all of us who have experienced or who did experience the intimacy with someone else before our spouse. It makes a lot of sense when you get married why God is asking us to not compromise our physical beings when we're dating, because it simply complicates things. And then I tell you what,
It's her husband.
It's her husband. Mm-hmm. So find ways to, find new levels of intimacy, and it's not always being physical, having intercourse, but find ways that you guys can be intimate in other ways so that the physical aspect of it becomes enhanced. Does that make sense?
And I think that as men, though it does hurt our egos at first, being honest really helps.
Yeah.
Because, sometimes we think we killing it, and we not. And you need to let us know, look, this is what, I'm sorry, but, I'm just talking from a guy's perspective. Sometimes having to talk in a safe environment, away from the intimate moment, saying, this is what I like, it's real simple. I know that I wish we had the telepathy where I can just reach in here and find out what turns you all the way on. But if you tell me, I'm going to do my darn best to make that happen.
Yeah, and that's another, I think, a very much deeper level of communication. Like you said,
She said he's boring.
You sis, I'm praying with you. Then find ways to spice that up. Find ways to spice that up. And again, I think as my hubby was saying, tell him.
Tell him.
If he's not getting it, tell him.
Do this.
And be okay with that.
Do this.
Based on what you enjoy as a woman.
Do it like this.
Explain that to him and tell him and show him if you have to.
We love it. We love it. It may seem bossy at first, but after we get over it, we're going to do it because that's what you like. Just understand that. Don't say it loud. Okay. What happened?
Killing it.
I'm killing it. Love it. I'm sorry, Miriam.
I know.
Yoli said that sometimes the pool, and I may be quoting it wrong, I'm going to go back a little bit, but she talked about, and I find there's very little access between men and women in churches. The numbers are not there for ability, and some people are very damaged from their past these days, and the older you are, I'm going to hit the see more, and the more something, ... yeah, it cuts you off a little bit, but we get it.
Yeah, and I think, but that goes back to, we can't assume that because we're Christian men and women that the only place we can date is out of the pool that's at our church. You know, find ways to engage with other cultured people. And I'm not saying that you're going out to find someone who is not a Christian.
It's like that.
But don't limit yours. There are Christian men and women who are professionals, who are artists, who are, you know, all of those things.
And I think it's important for churches to fellowship, not for the sake of just the hookup, but I think that's why, you know, it's so important for leaders to make sure that their people are interacting, like with each other and finding new ways to make sure that we're not becoming cultish and, you know, incestuous, you know, where, you know, we have the same cycle of people seeing the same people all the time.
And then it ends up literally in a lot of churches, the same people are dating the same people, and it's just messy.
And then you get played out, and then you got the rules, like if somebody dated them, can you date them? And so you don't want to date somebody and waste your dating card.
That's one of those unspoken rules.
So if you waste your dating card in the church, now you don't have access to everybody. So you're playing hard to get, you know, where you really want to expand your territory. And so being able to meet others in safe environments. And I'm saying we don't go to church a date, we go to worship, but there ought to be places where those who share your values are meeting. And so you got to know yourself. You got to know yourself well and trust yourself. And know where people of like mind gather. And don't be afraid. You know, it's real important. We met at a concert, but we all of our churches fellowshipped. And
that was very common.
My man Dante married from church. I mean, Ezra. I mean, it was from concerts and singing around. And so Damon. All right, Damon. See, here you go. If someone isn't good in bed, make sure they're good outside the bed. I like that one. I like that one.
I think,
but they can get better in bed if you just tell them what you want.
Alana, what about online dating like ChristianMingle.com?
Look, in this day and age, you get more information out of those websites than you do out of text messaging. So, and you just got to make sure that you're not dating their representative.
Right.
You know, because people can put on a good face.
And then we see you on Dr. Phil. Like,
you know what I'm saying? Like, she told me, and now she done catfished you. You know, you just.
But I think those are the kinds of things that have been very much a part of dating, that where people can say dating today is crazy.
It's tough, yeah.
Those are the kinds of things that make it. So find new ways to, get out more and fellowship more and expose yourself to more. I don't know. Yeah. That's tough.
Yeah, that is.
But you have to, don't limit yourself. But then you have to be very careful with.
Who's Anthony J. Brown? Is that the singer?
You thought I was worth saving.
We auditioning for your
Is that Mr. Brown? We won't make it because them some singing folks.
Yeah. No, that's Mr. Brown.
That's Mr. Brown. Today's his birthday,
It's your birthday. Happy birthday.
Or yesterday.
All right.
Check the credentials. Check the credentials. Yeah.
Check the throat.
When you check the throat. Listen, if this is on the throat. Listen. And
True says, I want to thank you. Yo, this lady wanted to sing that song so bad in church.
Our church,
Lord
Kingdom
have mercy.
It's a special place.
The stuff we got to go through.
But yeah, that's what makes dating so difficult. And don't make the assumption that because it's a church, because it's ChristianMingle.com, because they say Christian, that they are Christian, you can't make that assumption. So please, I know, pray for us, y'all. But please don't make that mistake.
Yasmin asked, what do you do if you're arguing with your boyfriend all the time?
Arguing about what?
Right.
What y'all arguing about?
Talking loud, or are you throwing each other down the stairs, or
Happy birthday, Mr. Brown. Yeah, what kind of things are you arguing about, and like why? And is it so annoying that you just say this is not going to work? Because I don't want to be in any relationship where I'm stressed out. I just don't want to be in a relationship.
That's so toxic. It's like,
that's frustrating. And I think a lot of times, and I want to say because of like all these stupid reality shows, so many people think that drama is
It's love.
Is love, or drama is what you have to have if you're in a relationship. That is a lie from the pit. You can live in peace. You don't have to live in that kind of drama. That's crazy.
That's crazy. Who want to be
You come in
fighting all the
home,
time?
you call me, we arguing. You come home, we arguing. We go to church, I'm not interested.
Conflict is really rooted. Conflict is rooted in.
Go to bed.
And we're going to talk about this week. But conflict is rooted in when there is not a meeting of the minds on certain things. And again, while you're dating, you should have some signs when But I mean, why are we with folk?
Toxic.
In those toxic relationships?
Yeah.
Is it about the bed? What motivates us to stay in relationships when we're getting to know people?
Right.
Sometimes we complicate it where we can't even use our brain because, I don't want to go backwards in my language, but we got to use our head. You know what I mean? Yo, Bella, where you at?
She's over here laying. She's
cool?
fine.
Oh my God.
She's fine.
Bella.
What do you do when the husband doesn't know how to support you when there's health challenges with a child? We're going to talk about that a lot this week.
Yeah,
that's really
big.
that's big.
And the statistics with health with children and health issues with children and the effects on marriage is really, really startling.
Yeah.
And it's a major life challenge. Yeah, it was Bella Dante. Oh God. But
that's what he said.
It was Dante. Dante, it was Bella.
That's a really good one. We're definitely going to talk about that this week. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, about supporting your spouse through really tough times.
Can you guys write a book already?
Well,
we gotta learn some more.
Is it true? Who now, Pastor? That is true. Who are you investing in? Y'all moving too fast for me. In a future or fantasy, some people are good at gaming others for the sake of their own personal entertainment and games. Sadly, I've seen this in our clergy. Oh Lord, she went hard. Lady Mo went hard.
But please be mindful. Just because you're dating and people look good and they sound good, don't turn your discernment off.
Absolutely.
Don't
and go slow till you meet their real friends. And they and you get
look
those
at their
signals.
whole circle. Look at not just them, but do they have children? Do they spend time with their children? Do they support their children? Do they have their parents? Do they spend time? Do they are they asking you for money after the 5th date?
You think it's fair to ask
problem.
them for their tax returns before you have sex with them?
You shouldn't have sex with them until you're married because I really believe it complicates. But ask them for their tax returns.
Yeah, and their credit report. I just want to see how many dependents you wrote on that thing.
How many kids you got for real? How many kids you
for real got?
Before I ask for those two, I honestly, I would ask for their vitals.
Their vitals.
I want to know,
I want to know if you got the cooties.
Yes.
I want to know if
yes.
Yeah. If you got a prostate.
Trust me, my dear got it. Sorry. She said go to the family reunion.
Straight up, going to the family reunion.
Look at all of them.
I want to meet cousin Day. I want to meet Pookie and Peanut.
That's right.
I want to meet your crazy uncle. I want to know about him. So
that's really important. You have to look at all of those things. Don't just get caught up in, I think this is the one. Don't look or act or in your spirit. Be thirsty. Don't.
Yeah.
Don't be thirsty.
Take your time, young man. Don't you rush to get old.
Say, Tia, go to sleep.
So dating is really hard work. You gotta focus. When you're dating. You gotta focus.
You do have to focus.
You can't fall for the sleight of hand, for the okie doke.
And when you say focus, not just focus, don't just focus on it's just about me trying to please you and be your wifey, because I ain't nobody's wifey.
Right. That's
wife tendency.
Yeah. You leaning toward not being less than a wife.
Yeah, be the wife.
So yeah, dating is hard.
Hi. Miss Moore, preacher woman, amazing woman. Good to see you.
Roz said, ask yourself, if I didn't love you, would I like you? That's a good way to know if the relationship is over. If I didn't love you, would I like you? I need to see your Equifax and your TransUnion. That's what True said. There's too much to focus on. The church boy swag. Come on. You know it. There has to be more to you than these fancy suits and playing the instruments. How are men invested in their futures? What do you know besides church? I think that church culture is beautiful. I love church. But there's so much more than what happens on Sunday morning in the services. Yeah. What have you been exposed to? What are your goals? What's your vision? I don't think you can hook up with anybody until you know who you are and where you're headed. Yeah. Ask those vital questions. Whose am I? Who am I? What do I have? What do I want? Where am I going? How am I getting there? You got to answer those questions before you're ready to even start dating. So that when I'm dating, I'm measuring you against where I know I'm headed. You don't match that. I'm gonna know it quick, and I'm sorry. Call me your old maid or whatever. I got standards. Yeah.
I often look at Kai and how, she's in a place right now where, and I know she's much younger than those of you who are on tonight, but, she wants to travel and determine her purpose and what she can do for God. And so she's really not focused on trying to date someone. She talks to guys here and there, and she's just like, they're cool, they're good friends, but not so thirsty. Or sometimes we feel like, and I know I have a lot of some of my younger sisters who are single, in their late 20s or 30s, where people are pressing them. Why aren't you married yet? Why aren't you in a relationship? But guess what? Their careers are on point. They're focused. They're doing what they need to do. They love God.
Said Kai's boyfriends won't stand a chance.
Kai has this group of men in her life. Dad
I'm not blocking.
No, he's not
blocking. Yo, come with it.
You're not blocking.
Bring
You're
it.
A tad bit intimidating.
Bring it. You better bring it. You better.
Then her brother.
It.
Then all her crazy uncles.
I'm sorry.
You guys are a little intimidating.
I'm not trying to intimidate.
One day I'm gonna tell you what happened when we went to dinner.
That wasn't me. That
friends.
was Dante.
It was both of you.
It was Dante.
You just didn't say a lot. Yes. I love the fact that we're raising daughters who are focused enough on what they need to do for God and who they are to not feel thirsty that they need to be in a relationship. And I will say this, and it's frustrating. On the flip side of that, there is someone in the church community who make the assumption that, she must be a lesbian because she's not getting... No, she has values and she has morals. Standards. She has standards, and she has made a decision in her life that she will not lessen who she is just to be in a relationship. And I so appreciate so many, not just my daughter, not just my sister Patrice Moore, but so many of our young women are so powerful in that. And I love that.
And I did a piece of, I went live, I think 2 days ago or last week on covering and that passage in Isaiah 28:20.
Yes, Damon.
Where it talks about the bed is too short that for a man to stretch himself on, and the covering too narrow to warm him. And that when a man, a Boaz or a baby daddy or a bishop or a pastor, they are coverings. And when you are dating, as a man, you first of all need to be measuring whether or not you're enough to cover her, and that whether or not this one is powerful because we think of covering, but there's another principle in Isaiah that talks about the bed being large enough or wide enough for her to stretch upon. That can I support her at rest, and can I cover her in the climate that her destiny that she's destined to be in. And vice versa. Should the woman should be measuring, can I rest in the situation that this man provides for me? Yeah. Without the pressure of making him change. Can I rest in it? It's a bed. You don't change the bed after you get in it.
Right.
is this bed enough?
That's good, yeah.
So the three bears, or Goldilocks and the three bears, when she gets
That is
there,
too, yeah.
Goldilocks takes time to see which one is just right. She doesn't get in there and say, I need to change it and stretch it. And she's, she fits it. It fits her.
Why am I thinking of Boaz?
That's what I'm saying. Boaz, he's a covering.
He's a covering.
And a bed.
But she doesn't jump in immediately. She's at his feet.
And he covers her.
She doesn't
because he got enough for him and her.
She goes to his feet, not to his side.
Get me.
Not in the bed. She's at the foot of the bed,
you need
waiting
to have
for that
someone in your
covering.
life that you can be at his feet.
I'm snapping for you.
You snapping for me? That's good. I'm just trying to help out. Everybody's still on. Don't forget, have date nights.
Don't be
with your
trying
spouse.
to date on my
who they hooking
Hi,
up?
Damon Jackson. Are you single?
Uh-oh.
He said, "What's your social security number?"
But even in marriage, you need to cultivate knowing each other, and even as you're married, we change.
Yes.
We talked about that last time.
We talked about that.
And remaining spiritual peers and remaining physical peers and going out and enjoy each other. Go see.
I feel like people who are in a dating stage or wanting to be in the dating stage are just wanting to be married. Do you know what I mean? That's the goal, just to get married. But there is just to be married. Mm-hmm. But there is when I tell you marriage is ministry that does not stop, you can't make the assumption that
So Alana moved from yours to mine to ask this question. But go ahead, finish your thought.
Wow, what was my thought?
I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt it. Let me just get it back in there.
Yes, Elder Lowe's and his wife, they are still dating 34
Can they
years.
come Thursday?
Oh, yeah. Are you available Thursday night?
I would love for you guys to come.
You can inbox my husband. Because we have a panel on Thursday night, and we would love to have you come and share. Mm-hmm. If you're available, that would be awesome.
That'd be awesome. So it says, what is your response to not everyone is called for marriage? I heard this so many times growing up in church, but never had any biblical backing. Seems like it mostly comes from single people. Sorry if I asked this. No, again, I think that marriage is not easy, and that. I think there is someone for everybody. We could argue whether or not there's a soulmate. And
7 p.m.
she answering the question. Yeah, see if we can get the Moors. That would be so dope.
The Moors are awesome.
I think that if you're trained for it, then you could survive it and do it well and flourish in it. I think marriage is something that God gave to human beings for our joy and for procreation and for partnership in ministry. And when you see it as such, and you enjoy each other, and you're willing to spend the rest of your life ministering to that other person on behalf of Jesus himself, I think you're ready to do it. And it doesn't take a whole bunch of magic.
Yeah.
I think people are looking for magic, and that magic is BS.
In a world of fantasy.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Do.
Yeah, date night is. Hey, that's Jackie McCrae.
Yeah, that's Jackie McCrae.
Hi. Date night is very,
Bishop
very,
Butler's
very
on.
important.
God bless you, Bishop.
Hi, Bishop. Like Money Butler. No.
That's the one that fly all over the world every week.
Marriage is definitely ministry, Linda. Absolutely. She said fairy dust. Nikisha said that's
fairy dust. Straight up. They
real.
watch TV and come away with that fairy dust in their eyes. Marriage is beautiful through the good and the bad, Eric. And you got a good wife. How long y'all been married, Eric?
Elder Moore, I don't have what is that called? Messenger. So you have to inbox my husband. Sorry, I got rid of Messenger.
Her husband has my
he could text.
He texts me every day.
I was tired of people sending me chain letters.
Yeah, right.
It was
I'm scared
overwhelming.
to open Messenger.
Overwhelming. So I had to get rid of it. Sorry.
Yeah.
But if you could have Elder Moore text.
Yeah, have Lowe's hit me.
Pastor,
That'd be so
awesome.
dope. I hit him
Thank
back.
you. Can you divorce if you're not sexually satisfied? Asking for a friend. Damon has issues, I swear.
Wow, that one hurt.
Can you divorce if you're not sexually satisfied? I mean, that sort of goes back to, not totally, but
Let me sip my juice. While
no. You need to talk. I don't know, because the Bible talks about divorce when you are stiff necked in terms of
you're hard-hearted.
You're hard-hearted, stiff-necked. You're not changing. You don't want to love that person anymore.
I think that sexual satisfaction, it is sometimes rooted in selfishness on both sides. On both sides, that sometimes the one who's not doing the satisfying is because they just get theirs and forget about the needs of the other, and sometimes the other wants what they want so bad that they don't take into consideration what the other is what their preferences are, what in those things.
Or like we said, you don't communicate them, and so you feel frustrated.
Right.
And then you're just like, I don't like this.
And if you're shy, if there is a shyness or inability to communicate that because it seems like you being dirty, but you feeling dirty because you want more. So why not, if you're feeling like you want more, ask for more so that he knows it or she knows that you are feeling more freaky than you've been freaky.
It's confident. So
right.
You shouldn't feel.
Right. Something you'd like to tell me?
Right. What?
I don't know.
What did you just say to me? You know what? Drink your juice.
Drink my juice. This is why it's important to talk before you get married. That's what Eric said. And see what each other likes or might not want to do, what the other want done. Communication before is key. Wow, look out now. Do you find a lot of men today?
Don't read Truth.
I love Truth. Truth. I will not go live unless you're on there.
Damon, I hope that helped.
Do you find a lot of men today are in place mentally, academically, financially, even ready for a commitment or marriage, in your opinion?
A lot of men?
You know, some of this stuff, again, as we get older, our concerns change. And being able to be compatible with someone in our bank books and on our pigskins and stuff like that is something. It's a social thing more than it's anything else.
And so I'm going to say it again, that when we got married, I had a couple credits, and you had some credits.
17 at Howard University.
17, I probably had about 6 at a community college.
And 3 of those was D's.
So I think being willing, and again, I can only imagine that as we get older, it becomes somewhat more difficult, and you feel like the pool from which you have to pull from is slim. They need to restock it. I hear you.
But go where they grow the kind of fish
you're
you're looking for.
Or go where they grow those fish. Tilapia. They're fake. But
she didn't help me right there.
But be willing to grow together. Thank you, Tia. Be willing to put in that effort and that time together. Perhaps there's a brother out there who doesn't have the level of education that he desires because he doesn't have the support. And that might be his wife's,
like you and I. I mean,
like us.
For example, we didn't even know to drive. Remember when I quit my job to go open a clothing store? And I was working. I had $250
invested
$250,
and it was a tough season. But
it was the dumbest thing I ever did.
We made it through that. And when you are constantly, if you're in a marriage, you can't shut down, I'm sorry. It's okay. We made it through. We learned a lot from that.
Put you through it.
It's all right.
But you know what was good in that season? I had a mentor in my life who told me enough is enough. Go back to work. My bishop. I had a man in my life who helped me. And
that is important. That's a great point. Mm-hmm. That even as married or you're dating or whomever, you have to have someone in your life who you can be accountable to. Mm-hmm. Someone outside of, so we're married, someone, you got Bishop. There are women in my life that I can call, that I can ask, that I can get advice from. I think that's very important to have those people in your life. We talk a lot about that with Know Your Worth, that you have to have people who can say, you know what, you're bugging. Mm-hmm. Or great job.
So Bishop and Lenny Moore, he's my friend on Facebook still, And
Well, I haven't seen him in
Lenny's
years.
my man, but they looked out for me. And when I went back to my job and asked for my job back, Lenny was like, "I'm glad you came back to your senses," you know.
Yeah.
And my attorney, Kevin Barry. Kevin Barry.
Tall guy.
Yeah. Look at
Bernadette says, am I selfish if I want my boyfriend to stop working so much so we can spend time together? We talked about the love language, and quality time was one of them. But if he's paying the bills,
you know, I mean, men find their ability and self-respect and their ability to earn, and you know, but we have to balance. You have to find that balance in a relationship.
Definitely.
It's really important.
On both sides.
Yeah, it's really important. And
it, you know, his working so much may make him feel like he's providing and he's doing what he needs to. But then you have to communicate. Like, I hear you, I respect you for that. However, pull back a little bit. Pull back. Look at this. Your perseverance through pressure preserved your passion.
Come on, girl. Your
I'ma
perseverance
I'ma
through
give
pressure
you a
preserves your passion.
Yeah, we're going to talk about balance. We're going to talk about balance.
Balance is really important. It's difficult, and knowing that my home is my first ministry.
It's revolving all the time. It's always changing. Yeah.
That I work to live. I don't live to work. And sometimes we have to work hard because we haven't invested enough time in our credentials and in our skill base so that we can earn more in less hours. And so pulling back to prepare myself to earn at a higher rate may be a better investment of my time. And
That's
so
good, because I thought about that with Bernadette. That's good.
And having mentors in your life to help you shape the best use of your time is really key. And you know,
that investment to you know, as an individual, to get more education or training or whatever, sometimes it feels like it's too great of a sacrifice, but in the end, in the long run, you'll be better for it. So
I can't see nothing with these glasses on or
Bless
off.
your baby. Bless your baby.
Struggling. I'm struggling. So so you're learning through sickness in a marriage that is helping you to grow stronger and closer. Absolutely.
That's so
Being
important.
there for each other in those trying times, in crisis, whether it's the loss of a job, the loss of a loved one, the diminishing of your health,
loss of a house,
a business failing, moving from a church, there's so many instances that we get a chance to show extra love and prove our love by being empathetic and compassionate to others.
Yeah.
Has it been your experience, Pastor and Lady, that there are a lot of people getting divorced? Some of our couples with 20 or more years of coming out of divorce, coming to the divorce table in the church. There's a divorce table in the church, but I get what you're saying. I think Christian marriages are particularly delicate because we have unrealistic expectations.
That's really powerful.
I think that we have the tendency to set standards so high that people won't meet them. And if we could be compassionate and be committed in deeper ways, that I think our marriages will be great examples for the world. But it is lack of preparation sometimes.
And sometimes we just sort of diminish issues in a relationship to, God to take care of it. And then you get to the place where you haven't talked about anything, you've not resolved anything, you've not even really prayed about it because you're frustrated. And, people are looking like, what? Yeah. Another Christian couple getting divorced because you haven't done the work to make it happen. And, And I wish I could say, the statistics are wrong, what people think, but statistics say that Christian marriages dissolve at a higher rate than that of those who are not professing Christians. And the only reason I could say is that again, we have something wrong at the base of our marriage, and that it's based on expectations and I think we're asking God to do things that He's asked us to do. He asked us to do. That's so true.
Yeah, and we need to own that. And so it does concern me. And, but times like this, just going to a session like we're having this week, I think is really helpful because it shines lights on the fact that you're not the only one struggling in marriage or being single, and that you get some wise counsel. And that's important for couples at any level. Going to counseling may seem like a negative thing, like a admission of failure. Or it could be a halftime, huddle. You got to see it the proper way.
Regroup. That's right.
Let's regroup.
We've gone to counseling. It was
We
helpful.
sure did. It was very helpful.
Absolutely.
And,
So don't.
It wasn't just workshops like this. We went to actual family counseling. I got to give big ups to Iona Pastoral Family Counseling at Iona University. Iona College in New Rochelle. They have a sliding scale.
Maybe we'll have that
staff.
information available
We'll
this
definitely
week.
make that stuff available. And that's not just for marital counseling. That's family counseling, personal counseling. They're beautiful people there.
When Ray was younger, after the death of my parents, he had to go to counseling. And I think we talked about that. We have to stop negating the mental health issues and the times where we need more some type of service to help us through those difficult times. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. So we gotta be really careful.
Can you talk about how expectations of dating or perspectives on dating change from your 20s versus your 40s? Is potential and building still a conversation in your 40s like in your 20s?
I definitely think it changes.
Of course.
Granted,
different life stages.
Yeah. Totally different. And, you would hope that
babies and all that other stuff in the 20s is a conversation. Is it still a conversation in your 40s?
Not in mine.
You sure?
Grandbabies.
Oh, okay.
Love them. Love the grandbabies. But yeah, it definitely changes. And you have to be willing to have those conversations. And, if you're in your 40s and you're dating someone who's much younger, does he still want those things? And, you're not on the same path. You got to determine that early on. Absolutely.
Dominique said it's not in mine.
Not in mine.
But
Alana, counseling's necessary. I do it every week. It's life-saving. Absolutely. Do what you have to do.
For your own mental and emotional health.
Yeah.
Dating is, you have to know where you are in your life stages, and you need to have someone who's going to be compatible with you, not only in that stage, but in the stages to come. It really just takes, of course you pray about it. Of course you're being focused and vigilant and diligent while you're dating, but you got to know what you like, and you got to have fun, and you got to be able to trust whoever you're going to hook up with. You really do. And
you build that, and again, don't negate discernment. The moment it doesn't feel right or doesn't look right, you have the right to bow out.
And I think it also begins, we're going to do that in a second, but I think it also begins too with you being the kind of person that you're looking for. Meaning, when I say be the kind of person, being engaged, being present, being open and communicative, and being empathetic person. When you begin to exude those character traits, you attract that.
Yeah, it's drawn to you. Damon says, some use home as your first ministry as an excuse to neglect the responsibility at church. I remember as a child, we were at church multiple times a week, which for me, it strengthened my relationship with God. When do you pick or choose between the two?
My first ministry needs my second one. My family has to be in the presence of God, hearing the word of God, because that's what keeps us balanced. We need that. And so my second ministry, I choose my church that fits my family's needs. And then we all enjoy being there. And of course, I got the opportunity to build an institution that meets our needs, and we built it together. And but our ministry is what strengthens our home.
Yeah.
through the tough times, our ministry was what kept us, from drowning.
Yeah.
And being able to pull back when you know you need time together, it's real easy. But if you constantly find yourself putting yourself and your family before God, you may have made a God out of your family, and really,
Absolutely.
you traded great for less. So that's a great